Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of You Are the Masterpiece, where we are all coming together because we realize we do not have to be perfect as long as we are taking the effort and we are the work in progress and we are the masterpieces at the same time. How fabulous is that? And if this is the first time you are tuning in, welcome to this beautiful podcast. My name is Irina Portnova and I am all about manifestation. How do we bring our thoughts into our reality, right? And a lot of time we do it unconsciously where we are bringing something that we do not really desire. So we are here to relearn the formula and actually connect to something what we want. And today I have a pleasure to welcome Amanda Boggs. Amanda, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So glad to be here.
Yes. This is so cool. So, Amanda, talk a little bit about yourself and what you are doing in this world before we dive in.
I have been working from home online for the past 25 years and a little bit longer, actually, than 25 years. I built a network of e commerce stores, mostly selling dolls and doll supplies. And I also coach doll repair. And I have a doll hospital. And after a while, I became a top Etsy seller and a top eBay seller, and people started to ask me for help with um, e commerce. So now I'm also doing business coaching as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing that. And we are going to dive in into the topic predictable income without living online.
Yeah.
Let's dive in because again, I can't stop raving how cool it is to create our own online income. So let's just talk a little bit because a lot of times the creators spend more time online than they should have been, and sometimes that desire can become very draining energy because it feels like the person has to be online 24/7.
Yes, yes. And that was me when I started. So I started my business. My husband in 1998 was injured and disabled in an accident at work. And at the time, I was pregnant with our oldest son, and we had just bought our first house. So I had to make extra money. And I was doing a lot of different things. The internet was very new. So I was working all day at a publishing company, and then I was coming home at night and freelancing and learning to sell online and online all the time. And over time, it took about 18 months, but I did replace my corporate income. So I was able to start
Mm.
staying home with my baby and working from home. And over time, I set up a system and I found out that I don't have to be online every minute of the day. I have this system, and gosh, it's been working now for many, many years. It's pretty low tech and it just brings me leads and it brings me clients without me always having to be online.
Oh my God, this
Basically,
is so, yeah, this is so powerful. I just want to pause because system is the key word, right?
yeah,
Because when we do not have anything in place, when we are just kind of, running from one thing to another, it becomes very exhausting. But when we have something, the structure in place, like I always say, structure is super, super important because now we kind of have the plan, we know exactly what to do, and we can actually automate something whatever can be automated. This way we feel a little bit relaxed.
yeah, yeah. And you can trust in it. So you're not, in the beginning, I would be always checking my store, looking at my stats. Who's looked at this listing? Has anybody looked at it? Did anybody buy it? And now I can just step back um, and relax and trust
Mhm.
that my system is going to be bringing in those sales for me.
So beautiful. So for anybody who wants to start online, just take us a little bit like what is the number one step for them to do?
Sure. I am a big proponent of long form content. Things like a blog or a podcast or a newsletter or a membership group somewhere where people can really get to know you. I think that you want to start setting that up. Um, Start just, mine is a blog. So I just one day started writing my blog. I was home with three little kids. I didn't really talk to adults at all. And I felt like I was kind of losing my professional skills. I wanted to be writing and I wanted to be creating. So I started this blog. So I was writing. And at the time, too, that was the new technology. And I wanted to keep up with the technology because I felt like I was kind of losing that. I hadn't worked in an office setting for a while. And I felt like, I wanted to keep up with the technology. And so I just started to write, and pretty quickly, then I attracted an audience of people who, many of them have been with me now. I started my blog in 2011, so a lot of them have been with me the whole
Mm.
time. And then people started to contact me about different posts in my blog, and so that really helped me to know what people wanted. So it helped all my offers. It helped my sales because then I knew what people wanted so I could create products that they actually wanted because they were telling me what they wanted.
I love that. So from that process, first you are talking about long form content, right?
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
could be post, it could be blog, it could be the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Anything that people actually get to know us, right?
Right. Not
And
something like a TikTok or an Instagram reel that disappear right away, but something that will
mhm,
stay up for longer.
right. And when people were connecting with you, what they were asking you.
Well, at the beginning, I was just writing about like dolls that I fixed and dolls that I
Mhm,
made, and I would show like a before and after. And people started to ask if they could send me their dolls to fix for them. And
mhm.
so I said yes, and people started to send me their dolls from all over the world, and I would fix them and I would send them back. And so then that was how I had a doll hospital that was born. And then they started to ask, well, how exactly did you fix it? Because these are just before and after pictures. And so then I started to create tutorials and books, and I was able to sell those. And then people started to ask, well, where do I get the supplies for this? How do I find the supplies to fix dolls? And so I started to, you know, put the supplies, like have them in my store and combine them with um, kits. And so supplies and instructions made into kits. And then people started, as I got higher and higher up in e-commerce, people started to ask how could they also have a successful store. So that's when I started to coach business. So
I
really,
love
I mean, all my offers came from my audience. My audience told me what they wanted.
I love that. And I'm going to go back to that. But first, I just wanted to say hey to Teresa. She is coming to all these lives, and I appreciate you so much, girl.
Oh,
So
hi,
she's saying, I'm
Teresa.
intrigued to hear more about what this live stream is about. Yeah, it's like that, like that box with treasure. It's like you
Yeah.
open it and something new just shows up, right? So, yes, so great to have you. And tonight we are going to have our live about the summit, Teresa, if you want to join us. And Amanda is also going to be there. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But we are talking today about online business without spending 24 hours online. And I love, Amanda, what you shared because it was so important. Like people starting to reach out, right? And when people
Yeah.
starting to reach out, our job is to listen what they are asking, right? Because
Yeah.
it's also the skill. Because a lot of times it could be something like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to offer, but
Yeah.
before we put the offer together, we first want to know what the people are looking for, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the idea is you listen to people, and even though you weren't ready, this is like another great point because a
Yeah.
lot of times people are waiting for that readiness. When I am going to be ready, I'll do it. But the readiness is something that we decide for ourselves. We can be ready as soon as we say, okay, today's the day. And there is no better time than now, right? And
Right.
I love how you said that they were asking you to repair and you started to repair. Like Did you know exactly how you are going to take this shipment? Did you know about the pricing? I guess you just had to learn as you go, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There wasn't really much online at all. So I was teaching myself doll repair. I was teaching myself business. Um, and I think because I was working after my husband had the accident, I had to jump in. I just had to jump in and I didn't have time to worry about it. But like at the time, I wanted to sell on eBay and you had to be able to code and I didn't know how to code. So I went to the library and I got library books and I taught myself how to code. And it was just like you said, at first I thought I would sell fine art. I'm a fine artist and I just decided that's what I was going to sell. So I learned to code and I listed all this stuff and nothing sold. And so it was a big blow. So I had to learn that lesson that you have to listen for what people actually
Mhm.
want. You have to listen and provide what they're asking you for.
Oh my God, such a great point, Amanda. And just for everybody who is listening, just think about it that we do not have to be prepared 100% because we are still learning. And that's the beauty of being the business owners, because it's never the same thing as you're working for somebody. It never gets old because there is always something to learn, there is always something to pick up. And then the most important thing is to have the desire, right? Because Amanda, you had the desire, and that desire must have been bigger than your fear.
Yeah,
Because if we are just operating from fear, we would be just frozen and not moving anywhere. So it
yeah.
was so awesome that you went on, got the books, and actually taught yourself. So that was when you were repairing. Now the next step was when people were asking if you're going to teach. So tell us, what did you have to do for that? Because again, you had to learn new skills again.
I did. I did. I had to learn, oh gosh, so many things. Like I had to learn how to create, at first I just had repair packets that I would copy like on a photo, like print out in a photocopier and mail out. So I had to learn to make ebooks and e-packets and how to list those. How do you do that? I had to learn how to make courses, how to make videos for people. Um, lots of new skills, and yeah, it was a lot of new stuff, but actually it was really, really fun. It was
Mhm.
it was if you stay, I think, in a lifelong learning mindset, if you're always trying
Totally.
to see what you can discover, I think that pays you back so many times because you know you you enjoy it. You're enjoying these new things that you learn. And actually, when I first started, there was no like social media or anything. I had to learn all of that
Mhm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And Teresa says, I feel that way about my official artist YouTube channel, trying to start getting more popular, which was slow, but eventually, after learning tips, I applied them, and now it's big time. Absolutely.
Yeah,
You can create whatever you want, but I feel like people are losing this steam very fast. And this
right,
is one of the drawbacks. People try something, it did not work, they run to another shiny object thinking that this is the solution. But the main solution is to stick with something, to learn, to course correct as you go, to shift
right.
something. Because again, if we are going to do the same thing again and again, we are going to produce the same results. So
Yeah,
if something does not work for us, we just want to reassess it and say, okay, what from what I was doing working? If
yeah,
something that is working, I'm taking it forward. If something that did not work, just let me tweak and let me see what's going to produce it as a result. Because a lot of people keep starting from the scratch over and over
yeah.
and over, and that's exactly what, something that exhausting people so much, right? That they even lose the interest to do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not restarting, sometimes it's just reassessing. You do
Right.
not
And
have to sit.
sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't even need to do anything different. Sometimes it's just that you need to allow that time. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, think of everything that's on the internet. Think of how many things people have to look at. You have to give people some time to find you. And like at the beginning, the first, I mean, gosh, the first month at least, maybe a couple months, I would be checking my blog stats and looking to see who looked. And it was always just me, you know, it's always just me or the, you know, the people, the scam type people that
Mm-hmm.
and try to sell you things. But after about a month, that's when I started to see actual people who started to read it. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, when I started my blog, it was all doll repair. And then over the years, I have switched, and now I really do a lot more business content.
Mm-hmm.
And now my blog is getting 70 to 80,000 views every month.
Ooh.
So, you know, seeing what is getting the views and then adapting,
Yep.
that can really help you take off. And then also, if you pair that with an evergreen, so I say my system is 4 pieces. So it's your long form content and then an evergreen search platform. So something like Pinterest or YouTube or a Reddit forum, somewhere that you can put that long form content, and then an email nurture sequence, so that the people that are coming in, you're getting their emails. And then finally, I teach all my students, add a store platform, like a sales platform. Even if you have you know, a business on your own website, you can use a sales platform to bring you more leads. Like you can have a little small offer that's easy to buy, and then you can convert those people into subscribers to your newsletter, and then you can bring them through, make
Mm-hmm.
them repeat customers, bring them through to your higher offers. And when you have that in place and it starts to work, and it takes a couple months, but then you start really, that's when you start getting the predictability, because you know, oh, this is all out there, people are finding it, there's a place for them to find me, there's a place for them to buy from me, there's a place for them to get to know me. And then the automations come in and just start nurturing them.
That is so, so good. Okay, we continue our conversation after a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, then we are back in our episode where we are talking about predictable income without spending every time online. And we are having guest Amanda Boggs, and we are having this fun conversation together. And Teresa says something. Let's read what Teresa says. Personally, I have a lot of inspirational energy, and that's propelling me to success, not just with my channel, but with my dragon family too. Awesome, beautiful, as long as you have the focus, because a lot of times when our attention scattered into many directions, we are not producing the results that we desire. So this is something for all of us to, as a reminder, right?
Yeah.
Because I love that creativity that flows in us, because it's like, I want to do this and I want to do this and let me try that, right? And when we have too many things on our plate, it's just like difficult to juggle everything, right? And just focus on one or two pieces at once, my invitation, right? And then once these things started to work, then you can add other things to that.
Oh
All
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so Amanda, tell us more. All right, so we were talking about your four step system, right?
Right.
And yes, keep going. Yeah, share.
Yeah. Well, so that's the system. So you set
Mhm.
up your long form content and you start producing. And Irina, you're absolutely right. Like I myself have a tendency to be doing a whole bunch of different things at once. So maybe I'm talking about this, I'm talking about this, I'm talking about this. And you want to try to um, you know, make that a little bit more focused so that you're able to find your actual people and you're not confusing them with what you're about. You know, you want to stay on a course for a while and see how it's working and then tweak it, you know, as you start to get feedback from your audience, you can tweak it. But yes, the 4 steps, the long form content, the evergreen search platform, the email nurture, and a sales platform. I find that when you have those pieces all in place, that's when you really start to see daily sales. Like that's when you're
Mhm.
waking up in the morning and things have come in overnight. You don't have to do anything like beyond what you've already done. So I post on my blog now about once a week, sometimes more, but at least once a week. And I I prefer for my evergreen search platform, I prefer Pinterest. So about once a month, I'll sit down and I'll decide what offer and what blog posts. Like I'll pick a couple different things that I decide for the month that I'm going to send people to, and I'll
Mhm.
batch create all of my content for that, and I'll schedule it. So it's just scheduled, and
Mhm.
it's just going out there, and a lot of it will be every place that I send them has something for them to do. So they can buy something, or they can get on my email list, or like they can download a free thing and get on my email list that way. And then there are nurture sequences that are set up. So, excuse me.
Yeah, thank you.
Gesundheit. So there are
Yes.
nurture sequences set up to like automatically just start
Mhm.
talking to them, to introduce me, show them other things that, other places they can go, and that's all automatic. So really
Mhm.
the only things that aren't automatic are creating everything. Like once a month I'll sit down and create it
Right.
all. And then in my sales platforms, whenever I have a sale, I try to give them something they can have extra. So I'll DM them and I'll say, hey, you bought this, would you like this other thing, to let them
Mm.
opt into that, and that brings them onto my email list. And it
Mhm.
also makes them feel very it makes them feel like, oh, this person is giving
Special.
me an
Yes.
extra gift.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It makes them feel special, and it right away starts to build a relationship with them.
That's so beautiful. And I hear you. And I guess initial stage to set everything up, yes, it takes time, but once you have it in place, it's going to work on the repeat.
Yeah.
Something what you share, right? Because a lot of times people are posting, don't even have any call to action, or they do
Yeah.
not have the path for
Right.
others to come into their world, right? Same thing like with the websites. When people are coming and visiting websites, and if they're not uploading anything, there is no reason for us to connect with them. We do not have,
Yeah.
right? But when we have something like a free resource, this is a great start, but to start from, right? So
Yeah.
like if anybody is posting any long form content, and just have saying, okay, take my PDF file, watch this video, or take this quiz, right? So this is the free resource that is going
Yeah.
to bring people into your world, because in exchange for that free resource, they are going to give you their name and they come to your email list, and now you can start nurture, you can bring them into your world, and you can let them know about everything what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so beautiful. Hmm. Yes. Tell something was on your mind.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I didn't even have a website for like 10
Hmm.
years into my business because I was just using these pieces to bring people in. I didn't even really need a website. So just something to think about. You don't really have to have that expense or to have that the tech headache right away when you're starting out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Teresa says we all have started somewhere. Exactly. And I believe that through consistency, we can thrive together, right? It's consistency. It's just, like really analyzing the data, what works, what can be done differently, right? And also sticking with the guidance of coaches, staying with the accountability partnership. Like all these pieces are important because again, it's when we are on this path, it's important to continue that self growth, because if
Yeah.
we are not in the right rooms, we would not be able to learn everything, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
super, super important. And Amanda, do you have any other tip for everybody who is watching right now?
Yeah, just get your long form content started. That's the
Mhm.
number one thing. Get like whatever you enjoy doing. If it's video, if it's writing, if it's speaking, like decide what it is and just start doing it. Just get started. I think that's the biggest thing. You just have to, instead of worrying about it and thinking about it, you just have to go ahead and start.
Right. And the help is always available if
Yeah,
somebody is seeking help, because again, it's very easy to be stuck when we do not know the roadmap, right? That's why
absolutely.
we all have our people who support us on the path. So if somebody is watching and this is something I love to do, but I don't know all the steps, reach out to Amanda. So she'll
Yes,
be able
please
to help
do.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have lots
So
and lots of resources.
yeah, I'm going to show again comments about for people to reach you out. I also have everybody to who is watching the live, and just want to say the most important thing is if you have the desire, that means this is something that is calling your soul, and just continue asking the right questions, continue exploring, and just have somebody who can help you to reach exactly what you want, because we do
Yeah,
not have to struggle alone. There is a lot of help nowadays, and all it requires just for us to ask for that help, right?
yeah,
Because together we are more powerful and we can create it in much shorter time, because we do not have to try and see if it works, right? Now there
right,
is, when the system is in place, we know that somebody already tested that system actually generates the result that the person wanted, and now all it is just partner with the person that they can show you how and every step of that system.
right,
All
right. And
right,
I've
thank you
got,
so much. Yes. Yeah,
oh, I was
tell.
just going to say, yeah, I've helped thousands and thousands of people with both doll repair and with their businesses. So I love to help.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for coming today and sharing your expertise. And we are going to see more of Amanda, because we are just starting the promotion for the summit, which is also on predictable income system. So for anybody tune in, Amanda is going to be on these lives as well. So if you have any questions, you can ask her. And Teresa, thank you so much for being with us in real time and for all your beautiful comments. We truly appreciate you. And for anybody who is going to be watching, you can just drop replay so we know that you were watching, and to reach out to Amanda, because again, sometimes all it takes is just to ask for help, because the help is always there. Thank you
Yes.
so, so much. And thank you so much, Amanda. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye for
Yep.
now.
Bye.